Jane and Karine are best friends, but they have different personalities. Karine is extroverted, loves to party, and has loads of friends, while Jane is reserved, and people easily forget who she is. They are both at the party, and Karine enters an eating competition. After she wins, she introduces Jane again to her friends, and one of them remembers her for the blubbery biscuit she made during the retreat. However, while she is talking, everyone starts getting bored, and they walk away one after the other. Just then, Brock brings shots for everyone to drink, but Jane declines drinking because she wants to go home and study. Brock and Karine try to stop her by using Owen, whom she likes, as bait. They also want her to walk up to him and initiate a conversation. Before she can give an excuse, Dave, Karine's boyfriend, comes to kiss her, which gives Jane room to excuse herself. While she is going home, she feels like staying, but decides to go home eventually. Jane studies when she gets home until the alarm she sets rings, and she takes a study break. She heads to the kitchen and starts baking while learning from a video. While she is baking, Karine enters the apartment with Dave. She tastes the cake she is baking, which is for Karine's birthday, coming up the next day. The following day, Jane finishes the cake's design. At the office, Karine is trying to please her boss, Benita, whom she works with as an assistant, while Jane is doing her duties by delivering the mail to the staff. Benita enters, and Karine rushes to tend to all her requests. Jane, on the other hand, sees Owen while delivering the letters, but waits till he stands up from his seat before she rushes and delivers his letter to his table. Jane then gets carried away by a picture of Owen on his table, and this makes him meet her by his desk. He has been waiting to see the person who always delivers the mail to his desk, because they always do it whenever he is not sitting. This is because she doesn't know how to talk to him. She finds it hard to respond when he challenges her, before he tells her he will be seeing her around and leaves. Later at night, Karine, Jane, and all the ladies head to the bar for Karine's birthday celebration. Immediately, they all enter the bar. Everyone disperses, and this leaves Jane alone as she heads to the bar table to drop the cake. She then requests for a drink at the bat. Everyone is having fun aside from Jane, who is standing by the cake. But not long after, the guys start having conversations with her about the cake she baked. While she is discussing with two guys, Karine sees her from afar, and she signals her friends to see Jane. They know she avoids talking with boys, and seeing her talk to two guys at a time looks like a miracle. Karine goes over and asks her to cut the cake. Jane does not want to, as she wants to wait till later, but Karine insists, and she ends up cutting the cake. When the guys taste the cake, they all love it, and this makes Jane popular in the bar. Their appreciation surprises Jane, but she is happy. Jane and Karine are both back in the office the next day and working as usual. After work, they head back home. Karine wonders if Jane has talked to Owen again, but she has not. This makes her suggest the idea of Jane starting to bake cakes regularly for a year and taking them to bars. After all, that made her talk to boys, so this will make her meet and connect with people. Jane does not want to buy the idea, but Karine convinces her otherwise. She then agrees on the condition that Karine will be joining her in the exercise, and she gladly agrees to it. The next day, they bring out the map of the city and paste it on the wall to map out all the bars in the city and how they will move from one location to another. They use pins to identify the bars and use red thread to show their movement. They also receive the help of Karine's friends. When they are done highlighting where they will go, Karine starts helping Jane look for befitting clothing that will make her approachable. The purpose of taking the cake to bars is so that she will be able to talk to boys, and it will fail if she is not attractive enough. Once their mission plan is all set, they head to the bar with Jane dressed in the clothes Karine picked for her. Things didn't work out as planned, as the guys that seem interesting are not truly interesting. It also seems to be the wrong timing as someone is celebrating their birthday at the bar, and they brought cake with them. They all head home disappointed. While on their way home, they see a group of boys coming out of a bus to start a party outside. Jane offers them a cake, which makes them excited. The next scene shows Jane and Karine having lunch with Jane's parents. Her parents are well-respected human rights lawyers, and they are in town for a conference. Karine does not get most of the gist, and she seems lost. Jane's parents, however, keep talking about her applying to write an exam and be a lawyer. They want her to follow in their footsteps. Later in the night, the girls are back on their mission to take cake to the bar. Jane and Karine give out cake, and Karine pushes Jane to talk to a guy checking her out from afar. She gets there and gives him the cake to taste. After tasting it, he suggests some things that will make it perfect. Seeing that he is interested in her craft makes Jane excited, so they end up exchanging numbers. When Jane and Karine get back home, They analyze what they have done so far. They list 50 bars they will be going to for a year, and Karine wants them to measure the result of each outing. While discussing, the guy she met earlier sends her his private pictures. This did not turn out as expected. The subsequent scenes show the progress of the cake in the bar task as Jane starts seeing different results. The result includes dancing with a man, men arm wrestling for her cake, and getting a free drink. While this is going on, Benita also promotes Karine to the post of junior agent. Karine is excited about the new position and promises to give it her all. She then goes to celebrate the promotion with her friends, but Dave, her boyfriend, is not present. Karine and Jane retire home. She keeps complaining about Dave not coming to her promotion party, but Jane makes it clear to her that he is always late. Suddenly, Karine starts feeling weaker, and as she is thinking of getting something stronger than aspirin, she falls and starts having seizures. Jane takes her to the hospital. At the hospital, Jane wants to call Karine's parents, but she doesn't want her to. They are interrupted by the doctor, who explains that she is not just having a headache, and that she will refer her to a neurologist. Karine starts having different tests, and Jane calls her parents. Karine's dad has a thing for fixing things that are not perfect everywhere he is. Getting to the hospital, he starts fixing the chair that seems to not stand appropriately. The doctor explains that she has cancer, but it is treatable. They just need to focus on making sure the tumor stops growing, or is reduced in its present state. After seeing the doctor, Karine, her parents, and Jane go to have lunch at a restaurant. Karine's dad is more particular about fixing the table that is not standing properly. When he is done fixing it, he suggests that they take Karine back with them so that they can take care of her, but she refuses to follow them. Jane promises to support her through her recovery journey. Her father insists they stay until she gets settled before they leave, but she insists they leave immediately because she knows her dad will be on a mission to fix a lot of things in the house, but they insist. While at home, Jane and Karine are listening to the conversation between Karine's mom and dad. Everything feels weird to Karine, but not to make her friend worry much. She decides to make a joke of her situation by telling her to make sure Lady Gaga starts an orphanage in her name if she does not make it. They both laugh about it before sleeping. The next day, Karine's dad is trying to make a coffee, but does not understand the coffee machine. Jane comes to help him out, and he starts mentioning some of the things he has noticed that need to be fixed. He insists on fixing them, even when Jane does not want him to. He also sees the map of bars they pasted on the wall and inquires about it. They are back in the hospital, and just as usual, Karine's dad has seen some things he needs to fix. Karine wants to keep her radiation mask when she survives the current situation, and she also wants Jane to bake a giant coconut cake for the next Friday. Jane feels they should not be going to the bar until 3 a.m. again because of her health, but refuses because she feels she will perish faster, not going out than staying at home. She reminds Jane that she promised to do anything she needs, leaving her with no choice but to agree to her request. In the next scene, Jane and Karine meet at the bar with their friends, and Jane hands over a note to everyone to ensure at least one person will be with Karine every time. This means there will always be someone monitoring her just in case of an emergency. Jane also gives them an update on her health. The friend notices someone has been staring at Karine all night and tells her only for her to see that it is her dad drinking at another end of the bar, monitoring her. The next day is the meeting between Karine's parents, Jane and Karine. They want the parents to leave because they want their privacy, but her father refuses to go because there are loads of things he still needs to fix. Her mother, on the other hand, feels it is time to leave them and agrees with them. She and the girls then find a way to convince her husband that they need to leave. Although Karine's parents do not want to leave, they still decide to give them their privacy. After passionately hugging and bidding her parents goodbye, Karine is happy she is finally free. It is the 23rd outing with a cake, and they made a cherry cake with the weed Karine's mom gave to them. Jane is knocked out by the cake, while Karine is having a good time with Dave. Seeing the way Jane is behaving, Dave decides to get a cab for them to go home. Jane goes to the bathroom. Just then, a guy walks up to Karine to buy her a drink, but she thanks him politely and rejects the offer. While the guy does not want to take no for an answer, he uses the word bitch on Karine. Jane comes to her friend's aid, and she makes sure the man leaves embarrassingly. This surprises Karine, as she has not seen Jane that way before. The girls keep taking the cake to bars every Friday, and on one of the days, Jane gets to make out with a guy who is introduced to her when she gives someone a cake. The ladies celebrate it because this is the first time she will be making out with someone in public. When they are at home, Jane ensures Karine gets all the care she needs. She has not been sharing all her bills with Karine because she is sick. Even though Karine does not want this, Jane does not give her a choice. While at the office, Jane sees that the office has created a plan for a 5K run fundraising event for Karine, and also acupuncture and an emotional support dog. Karine does not like the idea, but she accepts it because this is her new reality. Everyone, including Benita, tries to be nice to her at the office to make her feel better in their way. While Jane is leaving the office, she meets Owen, and they strike up a conversation. She decides to be brave and asks to buy him a drink so that she can learn about international property law from him since he works in the legal department and she wants to be a lawyer. Owen agrees to her offer. Later at night, they meet up, and just as they are talking about the law, they switch to talking about the cake she bakes. After a wonderful date between them, Owen drives her back home. When she is about to leave the car, Owen calls her back confessing how he enjoyed the day and kisses her. The next scene shows Jane and Karine in the hospital. The doctors check her while asking her questions regarding her health. She responds positively as she is in a good mood that her friend smooched the guy she has liked for a long time. Karine's parents also listen on call. The only developing issue that brings up concern is that she has been getting dizzy sometimes. This surprises Jane. After their time at the hospital, Jane and Karine go to the mall to get some things. While they are going back home, Jane's phone beeps and Karine sees that it is a message from Owen. She is excited and sees a place where they sell lingerie. She requests to buy one for Jane. Jane does not want it, as she feels the priority now is taking care of her friend. She lashes out angrily when Karine insists on the underwear because she feels hurt she did not inform her she was getting dizzy, which is a big deal. However, Karine does not want to talk about it because she simply wants to live and have fun. They apologize to one another for their outburst. But before they leave, Karine still insists on buying the underwear. The ladies continue their weekend ritual. While hanging out, Jane receives a message from Owen, and the ladies stop her from responding. They tell her to wait for 3 hours to make him sweat. In the next scene, Owen walks Jane to her home, and while they are about to enter, they overhear Karine and Dave arguing. They stop in their tracks and wait till everything is over. When Dave leaves, Owen also excuses himself. She enters to see Karine sad, as she has broken up with her man. Everything from that point starts looking sad for Karine. She is not able to perform well at work, and she is tired of it. While at home with Jane, she confesses that she wishes she was Jane, who always internalizes things before doing them. She feels she is not handling the cancer issue well, as she just wants to be done with everything. She then asks Jane to tell her some secrets or sing for her to find some distraction from her pain and enjoy herself. Jane obliges and tells her some secrets. Jane and Karine get ready for their dinner with both parents. Jane suggests they stop cake barking for a while so that Karine can get more rest, but she disagrees with her. No matter what Jane says, Karine is not ready to listen to her. At dinner with their parents, they cheer on Karine for getting on with her treatment. While at the table, Karine's mom asks Jane about her cake, and she responds that it is going fine. She then explains to her mom that she has been baking during her study break. Karine knows deep down that she does not want to be a lawyer like her parents want her to be, and she says it out loud for everyone to hear. Jane, on the other hand, behaves as if she does not know what her friend is saying. After a while, Jane and Karine go to the bathroom, where she challenges Karine on how she spoke about her not going to law school. Karine knows she prefers baking cake and tells her to open up. But since she is not ready to tell her parents, she leaves her alone to do what she feels is best for her. After dinner, Jane's parents try to confirm what Karine says about her not going to law school, and she lies again that it is a misunderstanding. Karine's company finally has a fundraiser for Karine, and while it is going on, Owen comes close to Jane to ask her to hang out with him later in the night. While they are raising the funds, Karine and Jane walk away. She feels tired while they are walking, and Jane suggests that they wait and sit down. Karine hates the day because it reminds her she is a sick person that people feel bad for. Jane is positive that she will get well. However, Karine tries to say goodbye, but Jane does not want to hear what she wants to say. Later at night, Jane gets up when she hears a voice from Karine's room. She rushes there and discovers she is gasping. The next scene shows them at the hospital, and the situation looks worse as she starts having amnesia. Later, the doctor comes to explain that things have gotten worse as the tumor had appeared somewhere else. This news shatters the relationship with Karine's parents. Karine's father starts reacting irrationally to things when they get back home, and he blames Jane for not allowing him to take Karine along. Jane, seeing this situation, also reacts irrationally and goes to Owen's house to sleep with him. Owen at first wonders what the issue is, but cannot resist getting down with her. Later, Karine's father apologizes to her for the way he spoke and explains that he reacted that way because he was hurt and was just looking for someone to blame. They take Karine away from the hospital. At night, Corin sneaks into Jane's room and asks her to follow her and get some fries. While outside, they eat fries, talk, and wear wigs on their heads to forget the present heartbreaking situation. Karine keeps getting worse, and she is still not able to find a match for her. While Karine is in the hospital, Jane bakes a big cake and brings it to her. She promises she will continue cake barring for her because it is what Karine wants. However, since she can't go with her, Jane decides to bring all the cake to her. She then starts baking cake and bringing it to the hospital until she is ready to leave the hospital. When Karine is back home, she and Jane have some girls' talk while Jane is making herself up. Karine asks what she wants with Owen, and Jane explains that she likes him, and he is a cool guy. But she wants him to like her so that she can believe she is likable. As it stands, she feels he is not the best for her. This response makes Karine happy because she is starting to know what she wants. In the next scene, Jane is on the phone with her parents. They suggest she join them on a trip that will help her in her career. She finally decides to reveal that she will not be going to law school as it is not something she is good at. She is only doing it because she wants to make her parents happy. They did not take it well, but Karine is happy to see her tell the truth. Karine, her parents, Jane, and the ladies are at the bar to do karaoke, which is one of Karine's favorite activities. Karine's parents sing, and after their song, Karine volunteers to sing next. As she sings, she gets too weak to finish a song, but Jane pushes aside her stage fright to support her friend. The song becomes an emotional song for everyone. Jane decides to take a step further in going for what she wants. She quit her job as a male employee. While she is going home, she sees Owen, who asks her on a date for the weekend, but she respectfully declines by revealing that she is trying to figure some things out, and she is not yet comfortable putting herself out there. He is disappointed because he sees her as outgoing, which means a lot to Jane, since he is the first person that would see her that way. Jane takes Karine to the beach, and while she tries to laugh at an incident at the beach, she ends up crying. She could not say a word as she hugged Jane passionately. Jane keeps supporting her, even when she cannot eat. When Karine eventually gives up the ghost, Jane feels shattered. When she wants to pack Karine's stuff, she discovers that she left her underwear for her because she always mocks Jane for not having smart underwear. The next scene is the memorial ceremony for Karine, and every one of her friends, family, and colleagues are present. Benita, who always seems to be the most busy person, is also present. Jane appreciates her coming, and she reveals that they will be going with the tour idea Karine had. Jane is surprised to hear that Benita knows she is going to be a baker. However, she is surprised when she asks her to reach out if she needs contact. After the whole ceremony, Jane continues with cake barring. She delivers the 50th cake, which is Karine's birthday cake. She appreciates her for the adventure she was able to embark on. A year later, as promised, Jane launches a cake bar and names it the Silver Lake Cake Bar.